revelation through pages. Chronicles, Gospels, prophets, sages. Leviticus, laws to pause, find phrases. Turning them corners, your spiritual mazes. Genesis to Revelation, so divine. Flip them scripts, endless grace you'll find. Psalms singing sweet, unbroken lines. Hitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? Wake up early, the dawn's light shimmers. Spiritual breakfast, soul food dinners. Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound. Plowing the word, no mythical ground. Verse after verse, wisdom's bound. Heavenly soundtrack, soul serving sound. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learning perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant seals. Split that Red Sea, divine reveal. Commandments written, not made of steel. Bethlehem birth to cross on the hill. Unfolding the never blessings, cast with skill. Scripture flip, every verse fulfilled.
Through the word, every verse, every chapter, nothing unheard. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extend. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extend. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. 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 Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Oh, hey, I just noticed you can see the bucket of fish food. So, that's fun. Little sneak there, and a little surprise for everybody. All right. Think the volume is adequate. That's what we go for on this channel. Adequate. It's good enough. It will be good enough. It'll be okay and you'll like it. It feels like there's a clip there to be made. All right. Let's take a look at the fish this morning and see if there's anything going on with the sunrise. Fish are looking good there. Pond flowing. Sunrise peeking up just at my pole there, the top of the hill. And let's see if we can't turn the cam on the lake towards the sunrise. Still haven't been able to get it over there this year. Yeah, it's still stuck. Still stuck. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Ukulele for worship just rated with 20 viewers.
We got a raid.
Watch the fish, they swim along.
Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome in. Good to have you here. Ukulele, good to see you, friend. Good to have you. So, Go Fina. I don't remember if that's how your name's said or not. Welcome in, Go Fina. I'm glad to have you here. Ukulele, good to see you. I'm watching you, people. And we're watching back. We're watching back. Dun, dun, dun. You like that one? You like that one? Yeah, good to see you. Let's get a couple of shout-outs in here. It's a shout-out for Ukulele. If you're not watching Ukulele, what are you doing with your life? How are you starting your day? Well, maybe your day already started, and that's why you're not watching, because you're off for the day already. But welcome in, everyone. Glad to have you here. How was your stream today, Ukulele? I struggled to get out of bed this morning. Violet Wynn, welcome in. I struggled to get out of bed this morning. I laid there until after 1 o'clock before I went to sleep last night and woke up several times during the night and just did not want to get up. So I didn't catch much of anything. Galaxy, thank you for the lurk. Your stream was catastrophe. Just joking. It was perfect. I like that. Very nicely played there, friend. Yeah, you feel me? You had to let the alarm blare until it stopped, then you put it on snooze. Well, I snoozed once, and then after the second snooze, I turned it off, and then I turned the second alarm off. So I have an alarm, and then a half an hour later, an additional alarm. That's how I use. But I don't usually need the second alarm. Some days I do, and I can just kill the first one and wait a half hour. Now, I've been told that's not good for you or whatever. I don't know. I feel like I get really good relaxation in that time period, whether it's sleep or not. I'm not worried about it. It's just like, oh, it just feels good and relaxing. Now, some days, like, now I'm awake and I'm getting up out of here. So, anyway, those of you coming in, those that are new, everybody, what is it that you like about Ukulele for Worship? What are you doing? Why you hang out over with Ukulele for Worship? Let me know in the chat. Here, we've got fish, we've got hats, and we read the Bible. That's what we do here. Oh, we're also doing workouts today. So we get done with this stream at 10 o'clock, and we restream or start a new stream and read the Bible. We exercise at that point. And, oh, did I not put it up? I know I made it. Let me go over here. Blessing Boat is tomorrow. Okay. So, Blessing Boat is going to start with Dino Dad, as it does usually. and then working its way. So 4-year anniversary for Blessing Boat tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time. 9 a.m. Central Time. Now I know they're Central, that Warrior of Light is Central Time, but most things aren't just advertised as Central Time. They're usually advertised as Central or Eastern Central, so anyway, it always takes me a minute to readjust to that. But I do have another one. I did not get it in there. I need to do that. Let me do this. Where is it? My brain, that is. Where am I at? Here we go. All right, so next week, over on the TCD podcast, I will be hanging out with Wordy Girl next week. So next week, Tuesday, 2 p.m. So with the podcast, I try to accommodate the time of when the streamer is able to make it. So I know that's not the best approach for trying to build an audience around something, but that's what I'm doing. Because I'm just trusting that my friend is coming in, that their audience is going to hang out when they're available. So those of you who are available Tuesday, check it out. If not, it'll be about a month down the road, and it'll be over on YouTube. But I am planning on starting a Monday gaming time slot that I will game over there, and then I'm going to try to figure out a gaming time slot to game over here. My thought with gaming over there on Monday is I'll be able to go live and say, here's the podcast for the week. So that's the reason I'm going to go gaming over there on Monday. I need to find a gaming time over here. I'm thinking it might be Fridays. So it might be one of those things where right over, do co-working, then go over, play video games, or come back over here and play video games. So that'll keep my schedule working that way. You got the impression that Big Unc was down for an interview with you soon. You might want to reach out. Oh, yeah. He's on my list to reach out to. He is. I'm not trying to push myself to get 2 every week. And we're going into Palm Sunday, Holy Week. So I'm just like, if I can get 1 a week. But yeah, Big Unc is on my list. I'm watching, definitely. Would love to interview him and hang out. But some of it, too, is about me knowing the person. And so now Wordy Girl is going to be one that I don't know as well. Like, I haven't known as long. And Big Unc would be in there, too. Where I know of them more than we have had one-on-one chats. So, if that makes sense. But I'm up for it. This is going to be fun. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. I might need to figure out how to not... I like the square. It works good on my pre and post slides, but I think I might need to squeeze it down, crush it down, so that I can put it back over here like I had been doing. I think that's what I need to do. Okay. Anyway, let's get the... What are we doing today? Oh, let me find it first so you can see. Oh, one more thing. I told you we have fish. If you haven't seen them before. There are my fishies. So, we've got the cam up on Lake Superior where you can see some blowing of snow has exposed some sand or blown sand on top of the snow, either way. And we can do sunrise and sunsets there. But the cam is partially frozen, won't rotate all the way around. Down below, we've got the pond outside, which I started. Boy, I was like a week early on that. We've had below freezing temperatures, but it's been okay. We got koi in the lower right down there that is behind me, the far tank. And then we got guppies in the upper right hand. So, just in case you wondered, you came in and said that you have fish. I do indeed have fish. Lots of them. All right, so what we do, reading in the Bible, we do Messiah Mondays, which means we're reading about Jesus. Jesus is the Messiah, so we're reading right now in Matthew. Torah Tuesdays, So we're reading in Genesis. The Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament. Wisdom Wednesdays, reading Psalms, Proverbs, things like that. Transform Thursday, so reading about things to help transform your faith and life. And so we've been doing spiritual disciplines there. When we get done with spiritual disciplines, I'm not sure what we're doing. We'll figure that out. Friday favorites, pick a book that is one of my favorites, and we read from that. So we're reading in Esther right now. I'm watching Dad Joke. How do you know Jesus loves Japanese cuisine? Because he loves miso. Because he loves miso. Yes. I think I've heard that one before, but it's kind of funny. Yeah, I think I've heard it a different way. What type of food is Jesus' favorite? What type of food or cuisine is Jesus' favorite? And it's Japanese because he loves miso. So you can tell that joke a lot of different ways. I love the jokes that you can do the setup a whole bunch of different ways. Okay, so we are doing Esther today. Let's get that updated. Oh, Donnie Dreams. Oh, you redeemed a Bible joke. Okay. Donnie Dreams, you need to go back to sleep. Got a big day, a long night tonight. Hope you have a great stream, Flat Cap. Think I shared what's going on tonight in your Discord. All right, I will go double check to make sure what that is. But since you're reminding me, we are passing the cap for Donnie Dreams right now. So if you feel led, if you are so inclined, if you could help out our fellow streamer Donnie Dreams, he is struggling with need for a new vehicle. So his vehicle broke down over a year ago, last May, and since then he and his wife have been sharing a single vehicle. It's difficult to deal with doctor's appointments, job search, and like during the day because she will sometimes need the car because she takes her clients to work. So if you are able to help Donnie be able to fundraise to be able to get a car, that is something that we're helping Donnie out with. So the goal is 1% of the way there. Whatever you can do, every little bit helps. By the way, just thinking about this, if you are in the U.S. and you have some struggles, some needs, you can dial 211. It is a source that will tell you what resources are available in your area. So maybe there are resources to help pay your electric bills, or maybe there's a food pantry, or maybe there's someone that, sells old vehicles or whatever. Where I lived, Teen Challenge, not currently, but previously, where I lived, Teen Challenge did an auto auction. So they did an auto auction on Valentine's Day, and I can't remember if it was a 2-hour drive there, whatever it was. Drove there with I believe my wife and my son, and we walked around and looked at all the vehicles. You had to pay cash, and we bought his first truck at an auto auction that way. All used vehicles, all donated to Teen Challenge. They teach them how to fix up the vehicles, and then we bought one at auction. So there's always those kinds of places and options available. And that truck lasted for years, got him back and forth all over the place. He drove the snot out of that thing. So, okay. There we go, helping Donnie Dreams, and I'm realizing I need to change the color theme so that it makes it easier to read. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. There we go. That makes it easier to read. I don't know why I can't just get the browser to go dark mode unless I fully go the computer dark mode. But then you see like little things disappear in the space. So though it's not fully a good way to look at it. Okay. So, we are in the book of Esther. Sorry, I'm just moving this. I had moved it. There we go. We're in the book of Esther. Esther chapter 4. So when we last left our hero, I just think that's fun to say. We'll have to find it. I got to get there first. By the way, anyone has questions along the way, questions are, I would say, vital. Questions are vital to understanding. Now, I know you might be lurking, and I appreciate you, so you don't need to feel obligated, but I want to make sure you feel you are able to ask any questions that you want about what you see in the text. Add input of things that you have heard and or understood. Oh, I can erase the headings. I did not know this. Cool. Cool. If I wasn't planning to go look up words and whatnot, I would get rid of the verse markers too. That would be a good plan. But it'll be difficult to go look it up when we look up words if I get rid of those. So anyway, you got questions, you don't know what's going on, ask questions. You got insights, you wonder about things, share those. Somebody told you something unrelated entirely, ask away. All right. So let's back up to 3 a minute and see what was there. Oh, that's right. We had Haman. What did Haman mean again? I forgot what Haman meaned. What did it mean? And the king's name means, I will be silent and poor. What did Haman mean? I'm trying to remember. I want to say exalted. There we go. Haman's here. Let me just look that up real quick to remind myself what Haman meant. Magnificent! That's right. It was magnificent. And Mordecai, I think, meant little man. Little man, or worshiper of Mars. I like little man. Okay. Now, when little man became aware of all that had been done, he tore his garments and he put on sackcloth and ashes. Okay, if that sounds really weird to you, if you've never heard me say this before, the putting on sackcloth and ashes of tearing your garments, it's like, my heart is ripped in two, I'm going to rip my clothes in two. That way, my outside matches my inside. My outside matches my inside. I rip my garment. You can see how I'm feeling inside. I put on sackcloth and ashes. I am going to outwardly express what's going on inwardly. We're not so good with that. We used to be okay. Like when I was growing up, if you went to a funeral, you dressed in black. Black was the color of mourning. Black was the color to show no emotion. Black was the color to show that things were not vibrant and alive in your life. Thanks, Donnie, for the lurk. So we don't do that anymore. I try to still do that, but not a lot of people do that. So we've got rending his garments, tearing them to match the heartbreak he's feeling inside. He went out into the city, crying out in a loud and bitter voice. Ooh, that's interesting. In a great. Oh my goodness. We found one of those other places where great was used earlier. I can't remember it. Hey, Mel, good morning. And the use of great there is used throughout Nineveh, the story of Jonah with Nineveh. He cried out in a great and bitter voice. So a great cry is going out. We have the cry of the people that often goes out. But he went no further than the king's gate, for no one was permitted to enter the king's gate clothed in sackcloth. So he often was in the courtyard of the king because he was near where Esther was, and he was able to inquire of Esther. But now, since he has done this, he is staying outside of the jurisdiction of being able to go in, as to not violate the being sad in the presence of the king, that kind of a thing. So don't even go into the courtyard, so that there's no chance that you can violate being there and doing that. Throughout each and every province where the king's edict and law was announced, there was considerable mourning among the Jews, along with fasting, weeping, and sorrow. Sackcloth and ashes were characteristic of many. Although prayer is not specifically mentioned here, it is highly unlikely that appeals to God for help were not part of this reaction to devastating news. As elsewhere in the book of Esther, the writer seems deliberately to keep religious action in the background. So, yes, but I think that's also part of the thing, is that you are in a land where it is not the land of your God. So are you crying out to your God? Can your God hear you when you are in a land that is not where his dwelling is? So I think that's part of the deliberate, not mention of him, but his eminence and his presence is still there. Many people lay in sackcloth and ashes. Okay. Cantaloupe wedges. All right. I do not often eat cantaloupe, but I have heard some people like it with bacon. So maybe someday I'll try that. When Esther's female attendants and her eunuchs came and informed her about Mordecai's behavior, the queen was overcome with anguish. Or prosciutto? Ooh. Usually don't have prosciutto out on the buffet when I'm getting cantaloupe. I have to do that at home. Is everything better with bacon? No. I'm not thinking I want bacon in my tea at all. So, no. Mordecai's behaviors are not in the Hebrew text, but are still... Okay. So it was just about Mordecai. Informed her about Mordecai, not his behaviors. Okay, whatever. We know what that was going to be. So she becomes overcome in anguish. Here's the thing. Did the edict not get posted in the palace? Did the edict not get posted in the palace? That's what I'm wondering here. How is Esther unaware of the edict? I mean, the news went out everywhere. Did they not post it in the palace for everyone in the palace to know? I don't know. So Esther called eunuch, one of the king's eunuchs. I believe that was that the right one? Hattith? Trying to remember here. One of them was named eunuch. The other wasn't. Esther 4, 5. Bum, bum, bum. People wrap veggie with bacon so they could be more edible or tasty, maybe even more kid-friendly. I don't know that that's kid-friendly, but maybe. Depends on the kid. I don't remember growing up a lot of kids liking bacon. Oh. Verily. Okay. No, it was the other eunuch. I just remembered. It was in the pre-stage when she got all the prep work that the eunuch's name was Eunuch, and now she's moved on to the harem part of it, and another guy there. Okay. Bacon was your daughter's gateway meat. Okay. Okay. Called the king's eunuch, one of the king's eunuch, who had placed at her service, and instructed him to find out the cause and the reason of Mordecai's behavior. So, hey, go to my uncle, find out what's the dealio. So, Hathach went to Mordecai, went to Little Man at the plaza of the city in front of the king's gate, when Little Man related to him everything that had happened to him, even the specific amount of money that... Was it magnificent? What was it? Oh, I erased it. Bummer. It was in verse 8. Sometimes, like I just literally looked his name up. Why do I not remember it? I thought it was verse 8. Don't see it there. There it is, verse 7. Yeah, it's magnificent. Okay. I suddenly thought it was something else. Before she would just eat fruit, bread, and cereal. Well, I think on some level, bacon can be finger food, and with kids, finger food is usually a win. So. Then Mordecai relayed to him everything that had happened to him, even the specific amount that the money that Magnificent had offered to pay to the king's treasury for the Jews to be destroyed. He also gave him a written copy of the law that had been disseminated in Susa for their destruction, so that he could show it to Esther and talk to her about it. Okay, so my question, how does Esther not know? Was there no copy of it posted in the palace? That sounds like probably the case. Why would the king need to post the law inside the palace? Certainly nobody inside the palace was Jewish. He also gave instructions that she should go to the king to implore him and petition him on behalf of her people. So Hathach returned and relayed Little Man's instructions to Esther. Then Esther replied to Hathach with instructions to Little Man. All the servants of the kings and the people of the king's provinces know that there is only one law applicable to any man or woman who comes uninvited to the king in the inner court. That person will be put to death unless the king extends to him the golden scepter, permitting him to be spared. Now I have not been invited to come to the king for some 30 days. I ain't seen him in a month. This is one of those really weird laws on my estimation. Like, you can't just walk in unannounced. That's really what it is. You can't walk in unannounced. So on some level, I guess this is a way to prevent assassination attempts. If you can't walk in unannounced, you can't just go in and try to get in front of the king. You have to be invited. And if you're invited, the king will be prepared for any and everything that might happen. Just guessing. So, it's interesting. I don't like from the way the story gets laid out. It doesn't seem like Esther has a lot of freedom. outside the palace. Like, she can go and come as she pleases inside of the palace on a little bit. Well, I can't go in front of the king. He hasn't invited me in a month. Which is really weird. Mordecai's outside. She doesn't seem to be able to go out to him. But also, when she was in the harem, there is the eunuchs that go and pass messages back and forth. She doesn't really ever go and see Mordecai. So I think there's that level of no freedom to be able to do so. And I'm just realizing, you know what I did not get started today? I did not get all of the... I didn't get the avatar started. I meant to. I thought I had. But apparently they did not start. We'll get those avatars going here. All right. Now I went to add this to my other channel, and was interesting that it didn't have the, like, it had a black background. So I don't know what was up with that, why it had a black background instead of the green screen background. But anyway, I digress. I might need to get another set of avatars and not use the fish theme for the Church Digital. We'll have to figure that out. Okay. Back to the text. Okay, so 30 days. When Esther's reply was conveyed to Little Man, he said to take back the answer to Esther. Yeah, you wonder if streaming avatars had biblical characters. You have to go. I was just wondering that too. But even if they were biblical characters, not sure how you would know they were biblical characters. Don't imagine that because you are part of the king's household, you will be the one Jew who will escape. I'm guessing that Jew is not in the text. From all the Jews, more than all the Jews, you alone of all the Jews. Okay, it's more blatant, I think. You alone. If you keep quiet at this time, liberation and protection for the Jews will appear from another source, while you and your father's household perish. It may very well be that you had achieved royal status for such a time as this. This is like one of my favorite, like, all-time, like, implications. If you keep quiet, God's still going to liberate his people. Protection and liberation is still going to come. But you and your father's household will perish. And it may very well be that you achieved your royal status for such a time as this. And who knows whether... have come to the kingdom, to royal dignity, to your royal position, have been elevated to the palace. Ooh, I kind of like that. Anyway, maybe you're queen because you're supposed to do something. Maybe God was putting you in place prior to this circumstance. Okay, I totally agree with all of that. I love that idea. However, let's back up a minute here. Mordecai, aren't you the reason that the people are in this state in the first place? Because you would not give honor to Magnificent, you little man, you. You wouldn't honor Magnificent. You taunted him. You provoked him. You are the reason indeed, Mordecai. So, we kind of overlook that part, don't we? Now, I'm not saying Mordecai's entirely in the wrong, okay? So don't get me hear me saying that. But Mordecai could have avoided places where where magnificent Haman was. They could have avoided that. Little man Mordecai could have not been around, not been visible, not been seen, and avoided this circumstance had he not made a big deal of it. Had he not said, no, it ain't happening. Never, not gonna happen. Now he's putting the pinch on Esther. You need to act. You have the king's ear. You can go before the king. Wait a minute. Mordecai, couldn't you go before the king? I mean, the same thing applies to you as applies to Esther, that, hey, anybody who doesn't have permission can't go in and would be killed. You could take the same risk. Hey, Skirt Savage, good morning. Okay, so I don't know about you, if you've ever thought about those things. I like to stop and think about things as we're going along, even the things that aren't really in the story, the what ifs and the, hey, maybe this wasn't, oh, you overlooked that. I think those are just fun ways to look at things. Okay. Then Esther sent this reply to Mordecai, go assemble all the Jews, you who are found in Susa, and fast on my behalf. Don't eat and don't drink for 3 days, night or day. I love the specificity here. Don't eat or drink. Now, I've never done a no water when I'm fasting. Like, no, I've always got something to drink. I have never done a fast, a dry fast is what it's usually called, a dry fast. Otherwise, it's called a water fast, usually. So, you can drink liquids that do not break a fast, and breaking a fast from the standpoint of biological breaking of the fast, meaning that your body does not come out of a fasted state because there is no nutritional value in what you're drinking. So, black coffee, black tea, green tea with nothing in it, no milk, no sugar, no sweetener, no nothing, does not biologically break a fast. So, that's where I usually go. Now, some will say, no. If you're drinking anything but water, you're not truly fasting from a spiritual standpoint, and I'm fine with that position. Also, some people are like, no, if you're fasting, truly fasting, you need no water. I don't usually go the route of no water for health reasons. Dehydration being one of those possibilities. So, okay, but for 3 days, 3 nights, nothing. Your female attendants and I will also fast in the same way. Afterward, I will go to the king, even though it violates the law. If I perish, I perish. So, sure, I'll go do this. I'll violate the law. So, little man sent out to do everything that Esther had instructed him. So, what's interesting is Esther doesn't need any reply back from the people doing it. Just an invitation for everyone to join her. My ladies and I are going to fast, no food, no water for 3 days. Then I'm going to go in front of the king. Also, I need everyone in the city doing this on my behalf. Okay, we sometimes go to the New Testament where Jesus says, don't let your deeds be known by other people. That's not an indictment against people can't know. It's an indictment against motivation. And I do love to do a corporate call to fasting. I think it's fantastic. Now, when I've done this, I know not everyone participates. I know not everyone does a full fast. But if we don't call people to it and we don't practice it, then people won't learn it. So a call to a fast, to me, starts with asking people to give up one meal. So
Reina Mystique just rated with 6 viewers.
you can do no water fast. Yeah, you need water. Skirt Savage, yes. Hey, Rena Mystique, Rena Raid. Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome in. Ziggy in Korea. Welcome in. Papstio coming in with the raid. Papstio, good to see you, friend. What was your foot doing? Is your foot doing better today? Southside Love TV. Welcome in, friend. Welcome in. I don't think I've seen Rena coming in yet. Excuse me. It just swallowed wrong there. Bum, bum, bum. Southside Raid. Southside Raid. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Is that Matey 51? Am I saying that right? Or is it Matey? Mighty Vibes, Rena Raid. Hola, Chad. Rena Mystique. Welcome in, friend. Glad to have all of you. Thank you for... There's Wywis that just swam by there. That's the albino plecostomus you can see back here behind me. Thank you. What were you doing? What were you playing? Those of you coming in with the raid, what is it that you love about Rena and hanging out with Rena? Playing, just chatting. One of my favorite categories. One of my favorite categories indeed. So thank you everyone for coming in. I appreciate you. Thank you for trusting me with your community, coming in and hanging out. So, those that do not know, I am Flat Cap Dapper Pastor. I am celebrating this year 20 years of graduating from seminary. Been a pastor for all of that time and doing pastoral ministry even before that. I've got fish. There's koi. There's more koi. There's more koi. There's guppies over there. I've got fish. I've got hats. And we read the Bible. This is a loving, welcoming community. No matter what you believe, whether you agree with anything that I say or you doubt everything I say, you are welcome here. So I'm glad that you came in. Southside Love TV. Just found her today. God sends you where you need sometimes. Oh, so true, so true, so true. Totally agree with that. So, what we are doing is reading in the Bible. Bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. So let me show you our planned method here. So, Mondays is Messiah Monday. We read about Jesus the Messiah. So we're reading in Matthew currently. Torah Tuesday, first 5 books of the Old Testament. We're still in Genesis. Wisdom Wednesday, reading Psalms and Proverbs. You can go over to the Discord and recommend one if you would like to read one that you really like. Transform Thursday, we're looking about how to transform our life. Right now we're going through some spiritual disciplines on things that will benefit us. And on Fridays, we're looking at Friday favorites. These are my favorite books. So we did Ruth, we did Jonah, we did James. We are in Esther today. So that's what we're up to over here. So welcome in. Glad you're here. Chime in wherever you feel that you have questions, you have insights. It's a fun conversation. I believe that it is best when we are in dialogue as we read the Bible. We do it out loud. I think that is the best way to do it, not reading silently to ourselves, but doing it in community with other people. So, I'm glad you're here. Oh, by the way, I've got all kinds of other stuff going on. So, I also work with The Church Digital, thechurch.digital. We have another channel that I am on. So I'm doing podcast style over there. So I bring in a friend who is my label, not their label, a missionary in digital spaces. They share their faith openly. They talk about their faith. Doesn't matter what level they do it. If they're a pastor, they're not a pastor. So the next one will be on Tuesday. And I'll be chatting with Wordy Girl. So if you'd like to check that out, you can. If you'd like more info on The Church Digital, you can go over to the Discord or to the website and join us there. And also, I'm thinking, if you are looking for family-friendly Christian streamers to check out, Blessing Boat is the second Saturday each month, and tomorrow it is celebrating 4 years on Twitch. So definitely go check that out. It starts at 9 a.m. Central raid party. So for an hour, each streamer goes on. They raid into another streamer, and it continues. It is this Saturday. It is tomorrow. So I got a whole bunch of more stuff I can tell you, so just feel free to ask anything as we go along, or else I'll just keep making sales pitches. Ha ha! I'm not a salesman, honestly. So, but I do like to talk about friends. Thank you. I'm watching. Yes, they are giving away a Stream Deck tomorrow. Lurk and Tab. Thank you, friend. Southside, appreciate it. Yeah. So I'm gonna hang out. I'm like if I got the Stream Deck, I might play with my play on it. Honestly, I'd have to figure out Stream Deck what I could do on the Steam Deck. I keep saying Steam Deck. I might enjoy that. Yeah, I'm on your own thing, but love to support. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, the thing is I like knowing everybody that I can that is doing things in digital space and showing love and support for them. So, Southside, love to have you hang out. And Rena, thank you for coming here. You seriously doubt you're going to win, but it would be a blessing. It would. We'll see what God has to say. Yeah. Yeah, I know people at times have gone to different things where there's a contest like these. Like, I know a person who, we were at Nerd Culture Ministry Summit, and there was a giveaway for a Stream Deck, and they were debating whether they should stream and start doing that or not do that. And they were like, well, if I win the Stream Deck, I guess that's a sign from God that I should start streaming. I've been thinking about it. I don't know if I should. And they won the Stream Deck. So there you go. There was the, you will, this will help you be able to do it. So go do it. You're a cussing sinner trying to be better than yesterday. You know, I don't have any issues and problems with that. I know other people do. Supersonic, Saved by Grace. Hello, and Cat Jam. Welcome in, friend. Okay, so to get you caught up, those that are coming in, we're reading in the book of Esther. Oh, yeah, you like to be honest. Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, the warning for people is, yes, because some people I know don't or take offense at it. I don't take offense at it. Does not bother me. The only things that bother me are saying God's name in vain or Jesus' name in vain. That's really the only things that bother me. Like, that puts me off. But dropping F-bombs, whatever. Okay. So, the edict has been issued that on a specific day, all of the Jews are to be killed and plundered, and you can do whatever you want. It is like the Purge, the OG Purge. Yeah, no God words here? Yeah. Well, not in vain. Like, you can talk about God. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. We certainly have. And, frankly, still do. Okay, so the purge date has been announced, and Mordecai is responded with sitting in sackcloth and ashes and ripping his garments. And if you don't know, ripping your garments and putting on sackcloth and ashes are a way to express outwardly what you are feeling inside. And so he is expressing outwardly the trauma that he's feeling from the news that is going to be the destruction of his people. And he has gone to sent message to Esther back and forth, because he's not going into where she is and she's not coming out to where he is, that, hey, what's going on? And he explains what's going on, and she is going to be fasting for 3 days, and she's called him and the whole city to fast for 3 days. Yeah. Supersonic, thanks for helping with lodging. You wanted to ask how to pay the amount due, whether you pay a portion or pay you back. But if a topic for later, we can discuss then. Supersonic, we could just DM on that. Everybody individually who plans to stay with me. By the way, he's talking about Reach Conference. I think that's what I've got for the command. Yep. Your mother's boyfriend used to say, Jesus effing Christ. That used to put you off. Yeah, it would put me off too. And you wasn't even a Christian at that time. Yeah. My grandmother used to say, oh, Lordy. And I still don't like that either. But, so anyway, Supersonic, yeah, just DM about that. I have not fully booked it. I put it out there to see if there are any objections to that place. Then there was also someone that said, hey, we're a married couple. Can we join the guys group? Are you cool with that? I'm cool with that. Let me know if you're cool with that. If so, that would add another person, because I'm not planning on everybody having to double up in beds if they don't know each other. But if a married couple took the room with the queen bed, that would add one more person and that price would go down. So I wouldn't ask you to pay me the full amount until, like pay half up front, I think is what I'll ask people to do. And then we'll pay the rest as we get to the conference. In case we have a few people that are like, hey, last minute, can I crash on your couch? And we say yes, and we'll add to it. So, yeah, I've got other ways like Venmo and PayPal that can do that as well. So then I don't get fees out of it. We can figure that all out later, Supersonic. I'm in no hurry. I'll probably book it today, though. I didn't get any pushback of, no, that's too much. And like I said, if we add a few more people and a married couple in there, I divide it by 7. That'll be divided by 8. Okay, no worries. You can also wait and pay me cash in person, too. I'm not in a rush to get paid back. So, Wade Mock, you deal with profanity in music at the gym, so you listen on your headphones. Yeah. Yep, and I'm not judging anybody who really avoids it everywhere they can, and I'm not in favor of the use of it without intent. Okay, by that, this is a great conversation, by the way. So don't worry that we're off on a rabbit trail. We do rabbit trails here. So there are passages that talk us about not using coarse jesting, which I would say there's a lot of coarse jesting in our culture in the U.S. and in movies and in TV shows. There is a lot of coarse jesting. There is no value in it, and it does wear on people when you jest at them, constantly degrading them in small ways. And I know we say, well, that's how we show we love each other. Yep, might be. But the continuous ongoing aspects of that are not good for people's mental health. So there is that. There is also, let no unwholesome talk come out of your mouth. That's where I think this falls into. So when I do drop profanity, I do evaluate if I am choosing to drop profanity before I do it or not. It doesn't just flow out of my mouth accidentally. So I do have a friend of mine who we used to bike. We used to get up on a Saturday. This is back in middle school. We used to get up on a Saturday, hop on our bikes, and decide which direction we're riding our bikes and ride like all day and turn around and ride back. We've recently started trying to ride together a couple of times a year. He's a couple hours away from me. We meet an hour in between. He's usually the one guiding us where we're going, and we'll turn the corner. There'll be a big hill, and I'll drop F-bombs at him, just as, old friends having fun with one another. But I do that in jest to my friend who I've known since middle school, and, I'm not doing that from the pulpit. Yeah, I'm watching. Wish people would understand you do not like it on your channel. But it seems you're going to have to keep putting your foot down at that, or take a few swords and VIP badges. I'm watching. Can't you add banned words in the chat? I thought there was a way to put specific banned words. So if you have specific words that you want banned, you could be able to do that. Zach Man, welcome in, friend. Okay. I'm going to snooze the ads here and see if we can't finish a little bit of the passage here. Oh, right. You're not talking about cursing. You're talking about the coarse jesting. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that's a hard one for some people to recognize. So, yeah, that's really like, would you want someone to say that about you? Or if it's, well, yeah, that would be one of the ways to look at it. You ask them to put the trigger block if they are putting offensive stuff. I see it used on servers. Oh, Wade Mock, interesting. You can ban words on Twitch. Yeah, I believe you can. You can, like, take specific words and say you don't want those in your chat. It will have the mod will come up, or it'll come up with the, like, occasionally Twitch will do that anyway. Certain words are used, and it does, the mods have to approve the message. So, yeah, I don't. The disrespect, the overt meanness, the subtle meanness, yeah, I'm not down with that. Okay, so she said, if I perish, I perish. So Mordecai set out to do everything Esther had instructed him, which is go find everyone in the city that is Jewish and do a 3-day fast along with Esther. It so happened that on the 3rd day, Esther put on her royal attire and stood in the inner court of the palace opposite the king's quarters. I love how they just say, it just so happened. The king was sitting on his royal throne in the palace opposite the entrance. When the king saw Queen Esther standing in the court, she met with his approval. The king extended to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand, and Esther approached and touched the end of the scepter. Hey, Southside, thank you for the biddies. Appreciate it. 2 biddies? Or not 2 biddies? That is the question. Thank you, friend. Yeah, you do say family friendly, you mean it. Like, there are legitimately small children and teenagers in your stream. They're exposed to enough in the world, and you're trying to keep it wholesome. Yes. I would think, thank you for the lurk. I would think some warning would hopefully encourage people to not do that. So, the thing that she fears, and it's not a fear because she can't be delivered from it. It is a fear of it could really happen. I could really die. Hey, more biddies! 5 more biddies! Appreciate it, friend. Thank you. I get excited about biddies. A sub, a bit, a tip, a dono. Woohoo! What? I'm watching on 100. 100 with the cheer. Some people like to troll streamers. You've seen them do it many times. Yeah, I think that is definitely true, Wade. I think I'm watching us talking about people that are regular in the stream who can't control their or choose not to, I should say. So she goes in with the chance of death, and the royal scepter is extended to her. The king said to her, "What is on your mind, Queen Esther? What is your request? Even as much as half of the kingdom will be given you." This is so weird. She just shows up. Okay? So when we have this usually, I would say, when someone is offered up to half the kingdom I will give you, they've done something. Like they've done something in which somebody is replying, I'll give you half of the kingdom. Here, no such thing is offered. There is nothing that has been mentioned. It's simply just straight up, hey, Let me give you half the kingdom, Esther. I haven't seen you in a month. Does he feel guilty for not having called on her and she had to show up? Don't know. I'll give you half the kingdom. Okay. So before we go further in Esther's reply, why doesn't Esther just ask now, hey, how about my life? Would that be cool with you, king? Would that be cool with you, king? Could I have half my, how about half my life? Could I have my life? You said half the kingdom. My life, is that worth it? Is that okay? But she's not, she already has. Okay, so she already has, I believe, in her time of prayer and fasting, in prayer, though it's not mentioned, in her time of prayer and fasting over the last 3 days, has devised a plan that she is going to win the full favor of the king and expose Haman. Magnificent. If you don't know, his name means magnificent. She's going to expose Magnificent. She needs the exposure of this, I think. So just asking for, hey, how about you kill Haman, isn't going to fly. At least I don't think she thinks it's going to. Or she's already convinced she has a plan. She's going to carry it out. Zachman, he was willing to give her half of the kingdom because she was hot. Yep. On some level, I think you are right. Okay, we do have ads coming in about 20, so we're just going to jump early over to the fish. Bum-ba-da-bum-bum-bum. So we got sunrise up over the pond. We got sunrise up over Lake Superior. We got guppies and we got the koi.
Fish pond calm and glassy clear. View it all right from here. Dapper man with sax
Ads should be coming in soon.
Plays tunes by his quiet land. Acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat Cat Pastor shows the way. Stream it live, come what may. With his cam he shows it all. Little fish both big and small. Life in pond so serene. Nature's beauty on a screen.
The ads not come? I'm not seeing them on my other stream. Anybody got ads? He said they were coming.
Music, gentle glow. Flat Cap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim.
Oh, now it's telling me.
To the rhythm of his song.
It's so weird. It says ads in 20 seconds and then it's not 20 seconds.
Shows the way. Stream it live, come what may. Refuse Cammy shows it all. Little fish, both big and small. Life in pond so serene. Nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow. Hear the music, gentle glow. Flat Cap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right. Watch the fish, they swim along.
I think I'm on a further delay than normal today, it looks like. Looks like I'm on a further delay than normal. Alright, well, we're back. Hit the wrong button there. Okay. Why was is back here. Why is right there, just chilling. I have the cam on the tank back here that's on the tank, not on this one anymore. That one got moved outside. Oh, he doesn't move too often. When he does, he's usually, well, he'll move slowly. He a algae eater, Plecostomus bottom feeder, so he'll feed all around the tank, and he'll just sit there and suck on it for long periods of time. Trigger Boss, hey man, good to see you. I'm doing well. Zachman gotta go. See ya, everybody. Thank you, Zachman. No, well, he's older than the rest of the fish in the tank, but it's not because of that. That's just the kind of fish they are. They just sit on the side of the tank or on the bottom of the tank, and they're just there to clean. They don't swim actively, is what they do. So, okay. So Esther has gone into the king, and the king has said, "I'll give you up to half of my kingdom." Esther replied, if the king is so inclined, let the king and magnificent, that's what Haman means, come today to the banquet that I have prepared for the king. The king replied, find magnificent quickly so that we can do as Esther requests. Like, I'm ready to go now. Okay, now think about how hungry Esther is. She has fasted for 3 days, and she's inviting the king to a banquet. I don't think she's eaten yet. And let's see, does it talk about her eating at this banquet or not eating at this banquet? So the king and magnificent went to the banquet that Esther had prepared. While at the banquet of wine, the king said to Esther, what is your request? It shall be given to you. What is your petition? Ask for as much as half the kingdom, and it shall be done. Like, hey, like, I was ready to give this to you before. Like, hey, I can give it to you again. Like, what is it? Esther responded, my request and my petition is this. If, if I have found favor in the king's sight, and if, the king is so inclined to grant my request and approve my petition, let the king and magnificent come tomorrow to the banquet that I will prepare for them. At that time, I will do as the king wishes. So, okay. My request is coming to my banquet for you. And at the banquet, my request is coming to my banquet tomorrow. So we already know from the beginning of the story that the king likes a good show, likes a good banquet, likes to get a little inebriated with the wine, likes to show off his wife. That's how we got in this whole circumstance to begin with. So let's have a party, just a private party, and you get to come, Magnificent gets to come. Then tomorrow, we get to have this happen again. Now, okay, so I was asking why doesn't she just ask? Because the king offered up to half the kingdom. Okay? Haman is going to get a chance to hang himself, essentially, literally. That's what he's getting here. A chance to hang himself. So she's slow playing this. She is slow playing her hand. You give me half the kingdom? Great. Let's go to a party. At the party, hey, I got another party. At that party, I'll ask. Okay? I'm leading up to it. I'll get there. Now Magnificent went forth that day, pleased and very much encouraged. What does the footnote say? Bum, 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 bum. Happy and good of heart, glad and pleased of heart, happy and in high spirits. Yeah, those all sound good. They're just telling us what others translate. That's sometimes weird when they just say, hey, other people translate it this way. Okay. But when Magnificent saw little man at the king's gate, and he did not rise or tremble in his presence. Okay, this is what got us in this situation to begin with, is little man, Mordecai, would not bow to Magnificent Haman. That's how we got the whole edict in the first place. Magnificent was filled at rage toward little man. I just love those name meanings. Like, little man won't bow down to magnificent. Like, there's so much fun in that. But Magnificent restrained himself and went on to his house. So, woo. He then sent for his friends to join him, along with his wife, Zeresh. Ooh, I don't remember what his wife's name means. Wasn't it something with jewels? Okay, we're Esther 5. Bum. By the way, if you don't know, we go look up words because people's names often mean something really important to the story that if we don't look them up, or insightful is a better way to say it, they have some insight into the story. Without looking them up, we overlook that. So, nevertheless, that's how we know that Haman means magnificent. Zeresh.
Strong's H2238. Zeresh.
Gold. Well, never mind. The sleep eludes me. Oh, sorry, Donnie. Gold. So, Magnificent's wife is named Gold. Like Goldie Hawn, I guess. Magnificent then recounted to them his fabulous wealth, his many sons, and how the king had magnified him and exalted him over the king's other officials and servants. Magnificent furthermore, Queen Esther invited only me to accompany the king to a banquet that she had prepared. And also tomorrow I'm invited along with the king. Yet all this fails to satisfy me as long as I have to see little man the Jew sitting at the king's gate. You could be helpful occasionally. You're helpful all the time. All good. Told your wife to get coffee when she gets off work. Okay. So, like, he recounts everything good in his life. And this one guy won't bow down to me. And that's just, my life is worthless because of it. My life is just incomplete. I'm trying to think of what he would say that he is. Like, I was going to say a nincompoop. But that's not it. I'm worthless. Hey, Damaro, welcome in, friend. Magnificent's wife Gold and all his friends said to him, have a gallows 75 feet high built, and in the morning tell the king that little man should be hanged on it. Then go to the king to the banquet contented. 50 cubits. 50. A dum-dum. There we go. Flip the chicken. Dum-dum. There we go. Yes. But it was more. I was more trying to go on the level of somebody that's not satisfied with something, more than degrading their intellect. I didn't want to go in that direction. But I don't know that. I'm trying to think of what word would go in that direction. Okay. 50 cubits. So a cubit would be from your finger to your elbow. There's different set measurements that are used. There's an 18-inch cubit. There's a 20-inch cubit. The Egyptian versus another. Or maybe it's a 24. I can't remember. Anyway, 50. The Torah, 5 times the 10 Commandments, 10. Together, 50. So this is supposed to be a symbol of justice that we see here. We see a symbol of justice is going to carry out injustice. The symbolism of the number would represent 5, the Torah, the books of the law, 10, the commandments, multiply them together. There's a symbol of justice there in the number 50. Assuming the standard of measurement of 18 inches, that'd be 75 feet high, 22.5 meters, which is surprisingly tall height for a gallows. Perhaps the number assumes the gallows was built on a large supporting platform or on a natural hill for visual effect, or it's symbolic. We're not supposed to think of it literally as that high, but symbolically, that's the number to describe it. The other thing is, gallows is the way it's traditionally translated, but I believe it's simply a pole. Let's go look that up. So, we're in verse 14. So I don't want you to take my word for it. I want to show you this. By the way, I'm using blueletterbible.org, which you can do as well. It is a free source. I try to use free sources so you can duplicate anything I'm doing and do this on your own. An ace would be a tree. Eights is a tree. Tree, wood, timber, stock, plank, stalk, stick, gallows. So he just has an eights built. An eights. He has a tree built.
Strong's H 6086. Eights. Eights.
So what is it? Like I said, traditionally it's been translated as gallows. Okay, if we look at historically what method of death were the Persians known for, they were known for impaling people on a pole. So this could also be like Vlad the Impaler, if you've ever seen that. Vlad isn't the one that comes up with that idea. He just perfects the fear and terror of it and revives it after the Persians had used it. So impaling, it might just be a giant pole, not a gallows to put a noose around your neck, but a giant pole in which to impale someone. So you just need a really, really tall tree, and you make that sucker into a spear, and that's what you're going to do to a person. It doesn't matter what it is, either way. When we see a tree used, there are two kinds of trees. We go all the way back to the Garden of Eden. We have the tree of life and the tree of death. When trees are mentioned, our brain should go back all the way to the tree of life and the tree of death. He is trying to construct a tree of death here. And the tree of death is going to be targeting little man, Mordecai. That's the plan, is that the tree of death is coming for Mordecai. The tree of death is imminent for Mordecai. And he's going to go to the banquet content if he does this. So, I don't know if his friends are giving good advice or bad advice. It's kind of neutral advice from the standpoint of they don't necessarily know the full story. They are giving advice to a friend of how to get rid of someone who's a problem, which would seem a reasonable thing to do given the date and time and circumstances of this. Not the way we'd do anything today. But the other thing is only his pride is hurt here. Okay? His honor is tarnished. That's it. No real harm. It seemed like a good idea to Magnificent, so he had the gallows built. Throughout that night, the king was unable to sleep. I'm trying to remember if there's something more specific in the word there. And the sleep of the king had fled. In place of the rather innocuous comment of the Hebrew text, the LXX reads, which is the Septuagint, the Greek version, and the Lord removed the sleep from the king. The Greek text thus understood the statement in a more overtly theological way than does the Hebrew text. Although even in the Hebrew text there may be a hint of God's provision at the work in this matter. After all, the event is crucial to later reveal of Haman's plot to destroy the Jewish people, and sympathetic reader is likely to look beyond the apparent coincidence. Maybe all the noise that it took to build the gallows kept him up. That's funny. That's interesting. But one of the things, again, is God is not mentioned at all in the book. The reader is supposed to intuit and put into the story the hand of God at several places. So, this being one of them, the king can't sleep. Oh, why is the king not able to sleep? Maybe God's keeping him awake. So he asked for the book containing the historical records to be brought to him. Let's read some court records. That'll put me to sleep. They're going to be boring. Let's read something boring and I'll fall asleep. As the records were being read in the king's presence, it was found written that Mordecai, little man, had disclosed that Bigthan and Teresh, from two of the king's eunuchs who guarded the entrance, had plotted to assassinate King I Will Be Silent and Poor. That's what the king's name means. Look at how infrequently his name is used. We've gone like several chapters without his name. Now suddenly it's used. The king asked what great honor was bestowed on little man because he did this. The king's attendants who served him responded, not a darn tootin' thing was done for him. I mean, I would just go a little bit further. Not a thing. Like, bubkiss, nada, zilch. Then the king said, who is in the courtyard? Now Magnificent had come to the outer courtyard of the palace to suggest that the king hang little man on the gallows that he had constructed for him. The king's attendant said to him, it is Magnificent who is standing in the courtyard. The king said, let him enter. So look at this. So the king finds out that Magnificent is out there and he says, let him enter. Esther goes in without a request, an invitation. Just like the play there, the let him enter piece, because otherwise Haman could not go in before him. So Magnificent came in, and the king said to him, what should be done to the man whom the king wishes to honor? Magnificent thought to himself, who is it that the king would want to honor more than me? This is what arrogance and pride does to you. Look at this. Like there can't be anybody that he wants to honor more than me, so he must be talking about me. So Magnificent said to the king, for the man whom the king wishes to honor, let them bring royal attire, which the king himself has worn, and a horse on which the king himself has ridden, one bearing the royal insignia. Then let the clothing and that horse be given to the one of the king's noble officials. Let him then clothe the man. Like, look at how extreme he's going here. I want to be clothed. I don't want to just have the clothes and the horse. I want to be dressed. I want an attendant. Let him then clothe the man whom the king wishes to honor, and let him lead him about through the plaza of the city on the horse, calling before him, so shall it be done to the man whom the king wishes to honor. This is like the best thing I can think of. Like, I want you, king, to give me your robe. I want to wear your robe, king. And I want to be on your horse. I want to look like the king. And I want one of your officials to go in front of me and saying, this dude's awesome. This dude is magnificent, if you will. So, the best I could think of is this. That's what I want you to do for me, king. Then the king said to Magnificent, go quickly, take the clothing and the horse, just as you have described, and do as you have just indicated for little man the Jew. Wait. Why does it say the Jew here? Little man the Jew who sits at the king's gate. Does the king not recognize that Mordecai is a Jew when he's saying this, and that their destruction is imminent? Does the king not pay attention to that, even in saying he is a Jew? Or is the author putting it in here later to emphasize that juxtaposition of contrariness to us? Not sure which, okay? Because the king doesn't seem to acknowledge that he understands the two things together, but it could be, it's not recognized that way because it's the author letting us know this info, or reminding us. Don't neglect a single thing of all that you have said. Okay, I love that aspect. So don't fall short in anything you've said. So, yep, you got the horse, you got the clothing, but you better be doing the pronouncement all the way too. So don't think you can weasel your way out of being able to do everything that was said. You need to do it all for this man whom you loathe. But I don't know that. So Haman, like, open mouth, insert foot, and does he try to get out of this? Like, what in the world? Ugh. So Magnificent took the clothing and the horse, and he clothed little man, and he led him about on the horse throughout the plaza of the city, calling before him, "So shall it be done to the man whom the king wishes to honor." So Magnificent is honoring little man. Woo! Then little man again sat at the king's gate, while Magnificent hurried away to his home, mournful and with a veil over his head. Like, he is ashamed of what he just had to do. He is hiding his face. Haman then related to his wife Gold and to all his friends everything that had happened to him. So they're all still hanging at his house. They're probably waiting for the gallows to take place. Okay, these wise men, part of the Greek tradition and the Syriac Peshitta, understands the word as friends, probably reading the Hebrew term, his friends, rather than reading the Masoretic text, his wise men. All his friends and the two readings appear to be conflated in the TEV as those wise friends of his. Interesting. Okay, I'm not going to dive into that. I just wondered if it was Magi, but that would be New Testament, so it might not even make any difference. Along with his wife Gold, said to him, if indeed this little man before whom you have begun to fall is Jewish, you will not prevail against him. No, you will surely fall before him. What? What? He's going to fall? Why? What? What? Why is he going to fall before him? Okay, so did they not know that he was Jewish when they gave the other instructions of build a gallows? Bum, 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 bum. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. All right. No cap for you. No cap for you. So, do his friends, his wise men, and his wife not know that he's Jewish until now? Or because of how they're seeing it, like, you just can't prevail against this guy? Also, where were his wise friends, or the wise men, or his friends, his wife? Where were they when he came up with the plot to have the edict that says, hey, we're all going to have a day in which we kill them all? Where were they when that happened? Where were they? Did they not know that? Did he not ask them? So anyway, just like, where were your wise friends when you came up with a plan that's going to backfire? Okay. While they were still speaking with him, the king's eunuchs arrived. They quickly brought Magnificent to the banquet that Esther had prepared. So he's at home. He's fuming. He's all upset. And it's banquet time. So he thought he was going to have a time of humiliation for Mordecai. Instead, he had a humiliation for himself, an elevation of Mordecai. So the whole story has a feel of the hand of God guiding the story. So Esther doesn't go in and ask the king right away for everything. Because Esther doesn't go in and ask for everything right away, what ends up happening is the king can't sleep. And the king finds out and remembers and is reminded of Mordecai saved his life. Okay, so let's honor Mordecai. So this has further infuriated Haman. It's made the sitch worse in his eyes. And now it's banquet time. Okay, I can get some reprieve. I can get some elevation here. We'll see what happens. On the second day of the banquet of wine, the king asked Esther. Okay, so I think the reading here is just saying, because this is the second day of the banquet of wine. We had wine yesterday. We're back again today. We're having wine. But I also have this feel like, okay, are we on day 3 actually? Are we on day 3? So was there the banquet, and then there's a second banquet, and the second banquet goes 2 days? Just kind of trying to scratch my head if that's what's there. Okay. On the second day of the banquet of wine, the king asked Esther, "What is your request, Queen Esther? It shall be granted to you. And what is your petition? Ask up to half the kingdom, and it shall be done." So this is the third time he has asked her. Queen Esther replied, if I have met with your approval, O king, and if the king is so inclined, grant me my life as my request, and my people as my petition. For we have been sold, both I and my people, to destruction, and to slaughter, and to annihilation. Stop rushing. So, we've been sold to destruction, to slaughter, and to annihilation. Hey, Northhill, welcome in, buddy. Welcome in. Hey, I was going to ask you, where did you get all of your little clips that you play on your channel? The John Travolta walking around and all that. Where did you get those clips from? Ooh, plums. Okay. If we had simply been sold as male and female slaves, I would have remained silent, for such distress would not have been sufficient to trouble the king. So, since we're going to be killed, I'm going to ask for our lives. But if we were just slaves, I'd have kept silent. I think the level of that is trying to address the seriousness of what is happening. Like, this is total annihilation. But destruction, slaughter, and annihilation. Then, king, I will be silent and poor, responded to Queen Esther. Who is the individual? Where is the person to be found who is presumptuous enough to act this way? Boom, timer's up. So, I will be silent, finally speaks. I will be silent, finally speaks. He usually lets other people speak on his behalf. He inquires of them, he lets them act. The oppressor and the enemy is this evil Magnificent. Then Magnificent became terrified in the presence of the king and queen. Enraged, the king arose from his banquet of wine and withdrew to the palace garden. You use Video Grabber. It will pull from films, YouTube, and embedded videos. Oh, cool. Was the law made at the banquet too? Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So, Video Grabber. Let me pull that up in another window. So, on those clips, what is the way to not violate copyright, though? Because I see a lot of people have those. Like, is there a time limit? Like, you can do 5 seconds or no sound or whatever. I think you got sound on them. Because when I went to go try to make one, there was, the warning of don't violate copyright. 15-second limit. Okay. Oh, okay. The first time. Was the law made at a banquet? I don't think it was. when Haman made it, but there was a banquet that they had following the making of it. So, remember when the edict was being passed out, the king and Haman are basically having a little private party celebrating it. You lost the link. Oh, okay. Well, I just looked up Video Grabber, and there's videograbber.cc, so I'm guessing that's what it is. There's videograb.net as well. So anyway, planning to work on some of that. Okay. So I think the banquet follows afterwards. I don't know if we'd call it a banquet. Sometimes scammers put up false sites, and you sign up for things, and you wind up getting all your information, so you try to find approved ones. Oh, yeah. Totally get that. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Then Haman became terrified. Okay, so... Enraged, the king arose from the banquet of wine and withdrew to the palace garden. Meanwhile, Haman stood to beg Queen Esther for his life, for he realized that the king had now determined a catastrophic end for him. So, the king is so enraged, he needs to go out and think. He doesn't just act. So the king is silent. Again, the king is silent. And Haman realizes the jig is up. The jig is up. When the king returned from the palace garden to the banquet of wine, Haman was throwing himself down on the couch where Esther was lying. Was falling, throwing himself down. So, what's this going to look like? The king exclaimed, "Will he also attempt to rape the queen while I am still in the building?" So, that's what it looks like. He's begging for his life, throwing himself at the queen, but it looks like he's throwing himself on the queen. Like, hey, I only got a little time here. I'm going to do what I'm going to do on my way out. As these words left the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. Like, you got egg on your face, kind of a thing. Harbona, one of the king's eunuchs, said, okay. Where Harbona is one of the 7 eunuchs sent by the king to summon Queen Vashti to the banquet. Okay. So we looked his name up before. Don't remember what it means. Where are we at? We're in 7-9. Okay. People jump to a lot of conclusions in the Bible, huh? Well, people jump to a lot of conclusions, period. More things change, the more they stay the same. Exactly. Well, given the actions of him, it's not a big leap to think that that's what he would be inclined to do next. Harbona.
Strong's H 2726. Harbona.
I forgot his name. He is the ass driver, so he's in charge of all the donkeys. He drives all the donkeys. So they cover his face. I'm not going to keep saying his name, meaning Harbona, one of the king's eunuchs, said, "Indeed, there is the gallows that Magnificent made for little man who spoke out on the king's behalf. It stands near Magnificent's home and is 75 feet high." Hey, BT Dubs, you know what he was doing for the man who you just praised today? He was going to kill him. The king said, "Hang him high." If you know that movie. The king said, "Hang him on it." So they hanged magnificent on the very gallows that he had prepared for little man. The king's rage then abated. On that same day, King I will be silent and poor gave the estate of Magnificent, that adversary of the Jew, to Queen Esther. Now little man had come before the king, for Esther had revealed how he was related to her. So now she's revealed that she is a Jew, and she's going to reveal Mordecai. So this is like the relationship is revealed, but did the king already know he was a Jew or not? It keeps saying Mordecai the Jew when it's in relationship to, but I don't know if that means the king fully realizes or knows it, or if the author's putting it in for us to see. Anyway, here we know fully it's been revealed. The king then removed his signet ring, the very one he had taken back from Magnificent. He gave it to little man, and Esther designated little man to be in charge of Magnificent's estate. So there's an estate. Esther's in the palace, so it's going to be Mordecai, little man, who's going to oversee the estate that she now owns. Now, what does Mordecai own? That's an interesting question. We never have where Mordecai lives or where he stays. He's in the city. We know that much. Reminds you of the Pharaoh and the final plague. What he wanted for God's people happened to his people. Yeah, the reversal there, the flip. Yeah, very true. Then Esther again spoke with the king, falling at his feet. She wept and begged him for mercy that he might nullify the evil Haman, the Agagite, and the plot that he had intended against the Jews. When the king extended to Esther the gold scepter, she rose and stood before the king. She said, if the king is so inclined, and if I have met with his approval, and if the matter is agreeable to the king, and if I'm attractive to him. What? You're throwing that in there too? If I am attractive to him. Let the edict be written rescinding the recorded intentions of Magnificent, the son of Hamadatha the Agite, which he wrote in order to destroy the Jews who are throughout all the king's province. That's a lot of ifs. It is. Okay, I got to go look up the if I'm attractive here. Okay. What word is really there that they're translating attractive? I think I'm pleasing to the eyes is what I'm going to guess. So we are in 8 verse 5, it looks like. Okay, so let's look all of these up, actually. Okay, so Tob is good. So if it pleases the king, if it's good for the king, and if I have found favor, hen, in the sight, and the thing seems right, kasar, before the king, and I have been pleasing in his eyes. I told you it was going to be good in his eyes. That's what it is, attractive, good in his eyes. So I would not necessarily go with attractive if I am good in your eyes. I think that's a standing rather than attraction level. But, okay. I was guessing that's what it was. And they're going with attraction, good looking. And I would not make the assumption of beauty here. If I'm beautiful. No. If I am good in the sight of the king. That would be the way I would go with it. But I could see where they would go with attractive, given that Vashti was there and they're talking about Esther's beauty and all that stuff. But anyway, I would go with different. Okay. For how can I watch the calamity that will befall my people, and how can I watch the destruction of my relatives? It's probably going to be my people, my kindred, yeah. So King I will be silent, silent and poor, replied to Queen Esther and to little man the Jew. Look, I've already given Haman's estate to Esther, and he has been hanged on the gallows because he took hostile action against the Jews. Now write the king's name where whatever is your opinion is appropriate concerning the Jews, and seal it with the king's signet ring, which he already gave to them. Any decree that is written in the king's name and sealed with the king's signet ring cannot be rescinded. So, yeah, you figure out how to fix this. The king will be silent. He doesn't write the edict that goes out. He doesn't write the edict here. He doesn't come up with the edict about getting a new queen. So the king is just like impotent with action and power. Like the only thing, well, also, a eunuch gave him the advice of how to kill Haman. How to deal with Haman came from a eunuch. The advice of how to honor Mordecai, little man, came from someone else. Like the king is silent. He never is decisive. He never takes actions. He is a manipulative puppet. That's how he's being portrayed here. I'm not saying in real life he was. I'm saying the author is portraying him as a puppet who everyone can pull the strings of the puppet. The king's scribes were quickly summoned in the 3rd month. That is the month of Siva. Okay, so we're in the 3rd month. This isn't happening till the 12th month. So this all started in the 1st month. We made it 2 months down the road, and Haman's plot blows up in his face. Well, we got to wait all the way until. On the 23rd day, they wrote out everything that little man instructed to the Jews and to the satraps and to the governors and to the officials of the provinces all the way from India to Ethiopia. Cush, yes. 127 provinces in all. Actually, I think the province that is called India would be in Pakistan today. Because it's India, Indus River, I believe, is where that is named. So don't think of the whole continent of India. Just think of the northern mountainous parts, or the valley of the river there. To each province in its own script, and to each people in its own language, and to the Jews according to their own script and their own language. Little man wrote, in the name of the king I will be silent and poor, and sealed it with the king's signet ring. Then he sent letters by courier, who rode royal horses. They were very swift. Okay, we've got months and months and months. Why does this edict need to go out so swiftly? I get the urgency on some level, but honestly, we got time. We got time. The king thereby allowed the Jews who were in every city to assemble and to stand up for themselves, to destroy, to kill, and to annihilate any army of whatever people or province that should become their adversaries, including their women and children, and to confiscate their property. Hebrew children and women, as in 3:13, the translation follows contemporary English idiom, which reverses the order. Oh, okay, that's all they're telling us. Okay. This was to take place on a certain day throughout all the provinces of King I will be silent and poor, namely on the 13th day of the 12th month, that is the month of Adar. A copy of the edict was to be presented as law throughout each and every province and made known to all peoples, so that the Jews might be prepared on that day to avenge themselves on their enemies. The couriers who were riding the royal horses went forth with the king's edict without delay, and the law was presented in Susa, the citadel, as well. Okay, so I don't know how long it actually takes to travel this distance. If we were to go back or go into another place where people are traveling from Babylon to Israel, and we see it's taking months of journey to get there. I could see where some urgency would be in hand. We had the first month that the edict goes out. Towards the 12th month, you might not need urgency. You got like 11 months to get the edict there. You probably will get it there no matter how long you take. I still feel like there's not the level of urgency here of, oh wait, it's next month. It's still months and months away. You shouldn't have a problem getting there, but I think for sake of the urgency of we need to save, we need to do this fast. Now little man went out from the king's presence in blue and white royal attire, with a large golden crown and a purple linen mantle. The city of Susa shouted with joy. Remember, the city was sad and filled with sorrow when the edict went out about Haman to kill all the Jews. Now it's all in an uproar with joy. For the Jews, there was radiant happiness and joyous honor throughout every province and throughout every city where the king's edict and his law arrived. The Jews experienced happiness and joy, banquets and holidays. Many of the resident peoples pretended to be Jews because the fear of the Jews had overcome them. Okay, it says we're becoming Jews. Embrace Judaism. However, the hiphil stem of the verb is sometimes used as a feigning action rather than a genuine one, which is the way the present translation understands the use of the word here. Professing themselves to be Jews, this only occurs of the verb in the Hebrew Bible, so there's no exact parallels. However, in the context, the motivation of their conversion is fear. Should not be overlooked. The LXX apparently understood the conversion description here to be genuine, since it added they were becoming circumcised and becoming before they became Jews. So the Septuagint thinks it's genuine coming to become Jews. They're saying from the Greek or the Hebrew grammar, maybe it was pretend. Interesting. How many chapters are in Esther? Okay, 10. 10. Well, we won't finish today, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. Unless anyone has questions here. In the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, on the 13th day, the edict of the king and his laws were to be executed. It was on this day that the enemies of the Jews had supposed that they would gain power over them. But contrary to the expectations, the Jews gained power over their enemy. The Jews assembled themselves in their cities. Throughout all the provinces of the king, I will be silent and poor, to strike out against those who were seeking them harm. Like I said, doesn't it sound like the purge? No one was able to stand before them, for dread of them fell on all peoples. All the officials of the provinces, the satraps, the governors, and those who performed the king's business were assisting the Jews, for the dread of little man had fallen on them. So all the officials are like, we're not taking off Mordecai. No siree. Whatever Mordecai wants, we will do. Little man was of high rank. Isn't that a fun statement? Little man was of high rank in the king's palace. Great. Again, the word great here. He was of great rank. I did not notice the word great before showing up throughout Esther as it does show up throughout Jonah. That's really cool. And word about him was spreading throughout all the provinces. His influence continued to become greater and greater. The Jews struck all their enemies with the sword, bringing death and destruction, and they did as they pleased with their enemies. In Susa, the citadel, the Jews killed and destroyed 500 men. In addition, they also killed, so we're going to get some names here. Parshadatha, Dalphon, Asphatha, Poratha, Adalia, Aridadoth, Parmashtha, Arisa, Aradai, and Vizatha, the 10 sons of Haman, son of Hamadatha, the enemy of the Jews, but they did not confiscate their property. So, Haman's property has been given to Esther. There are 10 sons, and I think we looked up the names of them before. Since it's the sons of Haman, I'm not going to worry about what their names mean. They all get killed. Vengeance comes on them because they were probably going to carry out the vengeance of their father. On the same day, the number of those killed in Susa, the citadel, was brought to the king's attention. Then the king said to Esther, in Susa, the citadel, the Jews have killed and destroyed 500 men and the 10 sons of Haman. So 500, 5 being a significant number, times 100. Or sorry, 5 being the Torah times a significant number, 100, 500 men are killed. When they had done this, what then have they done to the rest of the king's provinces? What is your request? It shall be given you. What other petition do you have? It shall be done. So, king's like, what else you want? That was easy. Esther replied, if the king is so inclined, let the Jews who are in Susa be permitted to act tomorrow also according to the law, and let them hang the 10 sons of Haman on the gallows. They're already dead, but we're going to impale them. I still think it's impaling. Going to impale them, put them up there, like everyone's going to know what happened. Anyway, it is dishonoring them, and it is casting fear. That's what public executions are for, is to humiliate and to cause fear. I'm glad we don't really do public executions anymore from the standpoint of, like, it's not on TV or anything like that. So the king issued orders for this to be done. A law was passed in Susa, and the 10 sons of Haman were hanged. The Jews who were in Susa then assembled on the 14th day of the month of Adar, and they killed 300 men in Susa, but they did not confiscate their property. Notice, in Susa, they're not confiscating property. They're just, we're fine with you guys who want us dead being dead. The rest of the Jews who were out the provinces of the king assembled in order to stand up for themselves and to have the rest from their enemies. Oh my goodness, they're going to have rest, Shabbat, from their enemies. The only way to have Shabbat, rest from your enemies, is for God to provide it. Hey, sis Pineapple! They killed 75,000 of their adversaries. For this number, much of the Greek manuscripts read 15,000. So, and then the Lucianic reads 70,100. And people wonder how numbers can get messed up because they didn't really have a numeral system. They used letters for numbers. So that's where you end up getting some things mixed up there. Okay, also thinking symbolic. I don't know what we're getting 75 from. The 70,000 or the 72,000 would be a representative of the nations if that were the case. I'm not sure where 75 comes from. You thought Susa was a streamer on here? The city Susa. But they did not confiscate their property. Oh, so no, the Jews don't confiscate property when they defeat their enemies at all. All this happened on the 13th day of the month of Adar. They then rested on the 14th day and made it a banquet and happiness. A banquet for banqueting and happiness. But the Jews who were in Susa assembled on the 13th day and the 14th day and rested the 15th day. making it a day for banqueting and happiness. This is why the Jews who are in a rural country, those who live in rural villages, set aside the 14th day of the month of Adar for happiness, banqueting, a holiday, and sending gifts to one another. Happy time zone. Mordecai, little man, wrote these matters down and sent letters to all the Jews who were throughout all the provinces of King I will be silent and poor, both near and far, to have them observe the 14th and the 15th day of the month of Adar each year as a time when the Jews gave themselves rest from their enemies, the month when the trouble was turned into happiness, and their mourning to a holiday. These were to be days of banqueting, happiness, and sending gifts to each other and providing for the poor. Yeah, people like to have parties. Yes. The trouble with banqueting and happiness is the sickness of blah feeling the next day. Well, that's if you overindulge instead of just go to a level of celebrating. But yes, I get you. So the Jews committed themselves to continue. How much longer do we have here or in this? Because we got an ad break coming in, and then we got to get ready for... Oh, we got it way too long. Okay. We got ad break coming in. Okay. So we are through 9:22 is where we are at. We'll finish this next week. All right. And I could spell Esther ever. I just... Esther, Easter, I struggle to spell either of them. I conflate them both and never spell one right. Okay, we got about 30 seconds before ad break. So that's where we will leave it for today. Still doing the workouts, those that don't know, at 10 o'clock. Working out with those people in ReachCon that are doing a 90-day challenge. Oh, yeah, absolutely. We could practice stream together. Could do it from the fish pond if you want. I'm going to be, when we get done with the workout, we'll raid over there, and I'll be working on stuff for the stream over there. So trying to get up some commands and those things. I want to work on that today. So, yeah, anytime, let me know, and we can try to do a collab. Or we could do it here before we go over if you want. All right. Bum.
Flat cap Pastor rocks his tweed, streaming life by the reeds. Fish pond calm and glassy clear, view it all right from here. Dapper man with sax in hand, plays tunes by his quiet land. Acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat Cat Pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may. With his cam he shows it all, little fish both big and small. Life in pond so serene, nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow, hear the music, gentle glow. Flat cap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat Cat Pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may. Reviews Cammy shows it all. Little fish, both big and small. Life in ponds so serene. Nature's beauty on a screen.
There we go. It didn't switch mics. Usually it switches mics on me. Okay, yeah, Sis Pineapple, do you fish pond, do you wave to everyone? I like that wave. That's really cool. You meant practice. You meant please help, sir. You're lost. Absolutely. I'm starting to feel really comfortable with the streaming. So yeah, absolutely can help with that. There's where we go. Let's pan out so that, and I don't need that. We've got this. So let me get some music up here. Although I hate that it runs ads in the background. Let me know the volume level there. I think I've got it set pretty decent so it's not super loud. It's just in the background. So get my phone up here, get my earbud in. Good volume? All right, thanks. Okay, bum 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 bum. Brain turn on. Discord's where I'm looking for. Boy, sometimes you're stuck and you can't move into what you're trying to do. All right. Okay, so those that don't know, I join on Discord over here with Reach. That's where everybody will be. We're doing the 90-day workout. Let me end this stream and get it started with the new, because the VODs will work out better if I do that. Because who wants to go watch my workout VODs? I don't know. Have fun. Enjoy. I mean, the clips are funny. By the way, one of the things I'm planning to do, I was trying to go back through clips because I know some people will have clips that the stream can play of them, and I've been trying to find some of those that would be good to do. All right, so we're gonna stop the stream and restart the stream with the new title. So, BRB.